Hello, everyone. I'm Hoda Yusri from Egypt. I'm taking part in the Policy Advocacy on Genetics and Genomics course 2024. I'll share our insights about should genetic data be shared freely among researchers in Africa. These insights are mine and prepared with a collaboration with Salma. We are the Affirmative Team for Team 1, and we will share with you our point of view. Let's start by a brief introduction about our topic. Genetic data sharing is a valuable tool that advances the scientific community, facilitates the translation of research outcomes into tools that influence health and disease, and accelerates discoveries that improve our ability to diagnose, treat, and prevent disease. Within the African context, genomes from Africans harbor unprecedented genetic diversity, presenting vast potential for discovery. So, sharing African genomic data offers encouraging prospects to accelerate research by generating information-rich genome datasets. However, public attitudes towards genomic data sharing tends to be shaped by a risk-benefit evaluation that is influenced by a range of factors. So, in the current debate, we will highlight the affirmative opinion related to sharing genomic data among researchers in Africa, exploring what drives this choice. Our opening statement that we believe that genomic data sharing in Africa is a transformative practice that holds immense potential for advancing scientific research, improving healthcare outcomes, and fostering innovation, especially given Africa's unparalleled genetic diversity. By adopting and promoting genomic data sharing, we can unlock new opportunities for collaborative research, accelerate the development of personalized medicine, and ensure that the benefit of genomic advancement are equitably distributed among all populations. The details of our constructive arguments. We categorize the benefits of data sharing into 5 categories, which are research, collaboration, ethical considerations, regulatory considerations, and economic. First, to start with research, it includes advanced translational research in ensuring traceability and the transparency of studies, maximizing the utility of dataset and minimizing the participant burden. Second, enhance research impact as publication linked to data repositories or persistent identifiers are more cited, enhancing visibility and utility of research output. A study reported that 90.3% of publications from data repositories are authored by teams who didn't contribute data, showcasing the value of open access beyond consortium models. Third, it promotes reproducible science, thereby maximizing funds utility. And finally, open data increase sample size and facilitate linking data types, thereby empowering research. The second point, or the second benefit, is considering the collaboration benefit. The 1000 Genome Project is an exemplary model for successful collaboration in genomic data sharing, where there is open access to data, provided unrestricted access to genomic data, promoting widespread use and collaboration, accelerating research and fostering a global scientific community with ethical consideration, of course. Publication policies ensured proper credit through clear citation requirements, applying standardization that facilitated integration and analysis through consistent data formats and metadata. And finally, data use agreements that ensure responsible use and confidentiality of data through strict agreements. From ethical perspective, effective genomic data sharing policy ensure African population benefit from global genomics advances, leading to more equitable access to personalized medicine and the treatments. It emphasizes the importance of obtaining informed consent to respect individual autonomy and awareness. It ensures that data sharing benefits extend to communities addressing specific health challenges prevalent in African population. Sharing data maintains the integrity and transparency of scientific findings, preventing irreproducible results and spurious conclusions. And finally, increases transparency with the public who predominantly fund the research. Another beneficial aspect from genomic data sharing is the regulatory benefit, where regional and country-specific regulations are developed. The regional regulation governed by bodies such as African Union, H3 Africa, DSI Africa Law, as country-specific regulation, for instance, the Protection of Personal Information Act, POPIA, in South Africa regulates data sharing practice. Finally, from an economic point of view, genomic data sharing enhances optimal resource use by facilitating more effective utilization of resources, contributing to economic growth. Our report, by implementing effective data sharing policies and practices in all African countries, they can enhance research quality and accelerate scientific progress. The DSI Africa Law project has developed a series of country reports on data sharing in 12 African countries, namely South Africa, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, Uganda, Ghana, Gambia, Nigeria, Kenya, Malawi, Botswana, Cameroon, and Rwanda. This country report informed us about the country status concerning data sharing regulation regarding modes of informed consent, individual and community rights in genomic data, and cross-border sharing of data as follows. In Botswana, these items are well established by the Data Protection Act issued in 2018, governing data sharing policies. In Cameroon, these items need more effort, although the guide to good practice for the creation, organization, and operation of ethics committees for human health in Cameroon is doing some role in this vicinity. In Ghana, these data sharing policies are well established by the Data Protection Act issued in 2012. In Kenya, the National Commission for Science and Technology National Guidelines and the Data Protection Act issued in 2019 is doing good work regarding data sharing policies. In Malawi, there is no general data protection law, thus data sharing policy needs a regulatory body in this country. In Nigeria, the National Information Technology Development Agency, Nigeria Data Protection Regulation, is regulating data shared policies effectively. In Rwanda, the data protection legislation, which is a law related to the protection of personal data and privacy, issued in 2021, is currently regulating the data sharing policies in Rwanda. In South Africa, the Protection of Personal Information Act, POPIA, is a regulatory body concerned with data sharing policies in this country. In Tanzania, the Personal Data Protection Act is establishing data sharing policies in this country. In Gambia, the Information and Communication Act provides for the process of personal data and protection privacy in general, but not for genomic data specifically. In Uganda, Data Protection and Privacy Act is working since 2019. Finally, in Zimbabwe, the Data Protection Act was issued in 2021 and is regulating the data sharing regulation regarding the mode of informed consent, individual and community rights in genomic data, and cross-border sharing of data. Our closing statement. Let's imagine a world in which physicians could use information about your environment, history, and genetics to tailor treatment just for you. Every day, we got closer to making this a reality, but to do this, physicians and researchers need to understand more about how changes in your genes affect our health. So supporting an ecosystem that encourages genomic data sharing will accelerate discovery involving both public and controlled data sharing strategies. On the other side, although sharing genetic data may advance scientific understanding and improve society, it must be done in accordance with ethical standards, legal framework, and human rights, especially those related to privacy. Therefore, genetic data should be treated with utmost care, safeguarded by stringent legal framework, and shared only under ethically sound and culturally sensitive guidelines to prevent misuse and protect the interests of all stakeholders. So, to effectively manage the risks associated with data sharing, consider 4 strategies. First, de-identification and identifier leakage ensures thorough de-identification of data to minimize re-identification risk. Special attention should be paid to metadata, which can reveal sensitive information. Second, informed consent. Design the consent process to include explicit permission for sharing de-identified data for secondary analysis. This ensures that participants are aware of and agree to how their data will be used. Third, data presentation and noise addition. Presenting only summary level can reduce risk, and adding noise to the data can further obscure individual information. For example, the Exome Aggregation Consortium and Genome Aggregation Database use such techniques to protect privacy. For data redaction and census, redact sensitive data or generate synthetic data that maintain certain statistical properties while protecting individual identities. This approach helps to preserve the utility of the data while minimizing privacy risk. Implementing these strategies can help balance the need for data access and the protection of individual privacy. Finally, you can see good examples of responsible data sharing practice as follows. First, the global sharing platforms like International Cancer Consortium, the Global Alliance for Genomic Health, the International Rare Disease Research Consortium have been developed to facilitate responsible global data sharing. The founders should promote a data sharing culture adhering to fair standards, which is findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable. Finally, NIH GDS genomic data sharing policy is as follows: to develop a data sharing plan as part of the data management plan, to provide institutional certification as evidence of compliance, to submit data in a timely manner to appropriate repositories, and finally, to properly cite the data in publication. This was all our presentation from our point of view, and this are the references for the presentation. And we are now open for any questions from your side. Thanks.